Hello everybody. It's Miriam here at the Paper Wheel Studio. How's everyone doing today? I'm back in my craft room for another of my 100-day projects here. And today I am using I have a few 6x6s, but what I'm primarily using are my 8x8 papers. And I picked ones that they have kind of backgrounds, so it won't really matter if something ends up a little upside down on it, because you're going to be folding a part of this up. So I'm not sure this top one will quite work, but we'll see. We may do it anyway. And I just have a couple 6x6s. My prototype that I made in advance is made out of a 6x6 piece of paper. And I laid this one here, but again, it's got some stuff that might be upside down, so I'm not really wild about this here on it, I'll be honest. So I might see if I can fold this up and put that underneath it, the pocket that I'm creating. Anyway, remember the folders you used to have in school? You just opened them up and you had a little pocket folio. Well, that's what I'm going to make today, only we're going to give this a little cut here so that papers lay better. And I've already folded this piece, so let me lay these just kind of a little bit out of my way, so I have a little more room to work here. And now I have my little folio. I'm going to start with rounding corners at the top. I like the rounded corner look on these. You wouldn't have to. And if you don't have a corner rounder, I'll show you what you can do on the next one that will work just as well. If you don't have a corner rounder, I can show you what you can do that will make nice looking corners. And it just kind of gives your project just an extra little snip. And I just did, the smaller rounded corners. This is the one I like to use. And then I'm going to open this back up and see how I have can you see my folded line right here? Let me put a little bit of ink on it in case I don't know how well you can see it on there. Can't see my camera the way I'm sitting here, but let me put just a little bit on here so you can definitely see it. Okay, now you can see where that line is. I'm going to come along with my scissors and I'm just barely going to take a little snip off of each side before I cut anything else. I just want, when I fold it up and then fold it again, I don't want this to pop out the side. And if you just barely take a little bit off of this, I'm talking a fraction of an inch here, that'll keep it from popping out. I don't even know if you can see the piece. Here it is. It is like very, very tiny, very minuscule that I'm taking off there. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. We'll start at the fold and just cut down. Just barely any. Enough that the thickness of the paper will not matter, because you can use any thickness of paper with this. All right, so now we have that, and when you close it, see there's nobody wanting to stick out over here. That keeps those from bulging out on the side. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and open it back up. And what I want to do now is make myself sort of a pocket here. And I'm going to fold this in half so that both sides will be exactly the same. I want the outside to be the longer and the inside to be the shorter parts. So what I'm going to do is simply start at where the paper is folded here. I'm going to start there. I'm not even sure why I inked that up now that I look at this. So let's go from the inside. Let's do that. You can do it either way, but we'll cut it from the inside. I have to stop and think because I've got it backwards here, how I really want it to turn out. So I'm going to start at the fold, exactly at the fold there, And I'm just going to kind of, you could do a straight line. I'm just going to try an arch here. See how it turns out. And I'm just kind of cutting up this way, and then I'm going to kind of round this off a bit and come up and go straight off and meet it that way. I went straight off the side. So I really didn't go clear to the end. It took a little bit off of there, but that's okay. Now when we fold this up, oh, what happened there? Paper must have slipped. So let me correct my mistake here. If your paper slips, just come back in and take your scissors. You could use a cutting knife and put it down on your cutting mat. I prefer scissors. I don't do real good with cutting knives. I need to use it a bit more so I can get used to it, and then maybe it would be so difficult for me to use, but I just haven't done that yet. Been doing other things that have been out of my comfort zone, and you can't do too many things at one time, can you? All right, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to get my little, where's my little sanding piece? And it is hiding away. If you have a sanding disc or a sanding block, you can go back and sand that little bit off of there. Aha, I found mine. It was hiding in my ephemera bowl. And I just keep a bowl of ephemera pieces that I want to get used up. So that's what's in this. And that's what we're going to decorate these little folios with today. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to take my little sander and just sand this little tiny bit of paper. See how easy that sanded off, and I didn't have to worry about making sure it was straight or not. So now I have this on the inside of my folio. I'm going to just simply glue up the side. Really simple. I turned my glue bottle upside down, though it fell over. I thought if I turned it upside down in advance, it might work easier. So let's see if we can get the glue flowing easily today. All right, and I'm just going to glue these little edges here. And I'm not going to round this corner because I want it, I want it to match up and look pretty cool down the side here. Well, so much for the glue flowing easily today. It is a little colder today. There we go. Not cold, just cooler than it has been. So probably why the glue just doesn't want to match up real good here. And being Mother's Day, I wanted this to be a very simple project for you to do. You could also make these using your 6x6 papers. I think these square ones work very well for this, but you could really use any size you want. And you could make these, and then you could, well, not wanting to stay there, so we're going to give it a little hold. You could use this side and put a little gift card in it, and put a little note on the other side, and it would be perfect. If you're giving your mother a gift card for Mother's Day, that would be perfect. Or if you had a birthday gift, or really any holiday. So I'm just going to do the same on this, and I'm going to put my glue on my paper. That way I'll know it matches up good when I go to shut it. I don't have to worry about the glue matching my paper that way. If I put it down on the other side, then I might have extra glue that I don't need. See there, I just barely had any. Just wiping it with my fingers, because I always do. Let's see, here's a napkin I can use. It happens to be in my lap. Okay, so now we have this. And now you have a little folio that you can come along and slip a little note and a gift card in, and you've got a perfect little folio. You could go ahead and round these two corners if you wanted to match them up. I'm not going to, because I've got glue there, and I don't want to my corner rounder does not do well with glue, but that's an option I can come back and do. So I'm just going to make several of these, and then we'll decorate a few. while I'm still on here. So let's do the other 6x6 I had laying here with flowers. I think floral papers, as long as your flowers aren't directional, these work really, really well. I'm not really measuring, but for those of you that like to measure, you can lay it on your mat and just simply fold it up 2 inches, which is about what that is. Make my fold as straight as I can along the edge, because I know if I cut this paper, I know if my edge is straight, the rest of it all should be. All right, so now I have that, and I'm going to just simply go ahead and fold it in half so I can figure out where my half mark is, so I'll be able to do my cutting. I'm more interested, see how these stick out here? We're going to take care of that. That's what, when we take that little bit off, that's what it does, is take care of these little extras that are folded over the edge. So I like to make sure my upper edges are matched very well. And then I'll push down the rest of it there, and it slid. Oh, no. There we go. Got it. So I want to hold that down good. And it might just, there we go. Get that corrected there, and then I'm going to push the rest of this down just with my fingers. You come along with your bone folder if you'd like. I don't have mine on me, I don't think, unless it's in my drawer. Let me see, maybe. I keep a couple drawers handy here. I'm going to scoot you away from me just a hair. There we go. And see, oh, I have a little bone folder thing I can use in here. Isn't that fantastic? For once, I have something handy I can get to. Try to keep my craft supplies where I can get to them. This is just a little one of those that comes with stamps, but it'll do the trick for me. You just need something you can really brandish this corner down good with. In all honesty, I do better with fingers. All right, bring that down. I'm going to make my cuts now. If I didn't hide my scissors, there they are. All right, so I'm going to make a fraction of a cut on each side, just enough so that the hanging over papers don't hang over anymore. I'm just going to put it just like this. I'm going to open it up because it's easier to cut. Should have known that from the last one. And again, you could round corners on these. I'm not going to round all my corners now. I'll probably wait and do that at a later time, just for ease of keeping my video from getting too long. This is some 6x6 papers that I used inks, and they were just simply white on the back, and I used some inks and gave it a little bit of color. It's got a blue tint there. I don't know if you could see that. So it did soak through to the other side, but I really like how it went in amongst the flowers there. You can see the blue ink that was added. It didn't come that way. So you can take your papers and turn them into whatever you'd like them to look like almost, if you have the stamps and the inks to do it. All right, now I'm going to fold it in half again. And remember, we want it lower in the center. So I'm going to give it the higher part out here. And that just doesn't seem to want to fold up exactly for some reason. Oh, because I cut them. That's why. Yeah, let's straighten it out just a bit on the top part. But the bottom's not going to line up exactly on the edge because of the two sides cut. And I guess I could have matched them together and cut them both at the same time, but I didn't. I'm going to leave that one as is. I don't think it's going to make much difference in the whole scheme of things once I get this part done. And we want the center to be lower. So if you wanted, let's leave a little bit on here and see how that would turn out here. So I'm just going to kind of, let's just do a straight cut up here and see what we get. Just cutting a diagonal off here. let's see what we get when we fold these up. You know, I kind of like it without that. But we'll leave it there on this one. So this time I'm going to put just a little bit of glue here. If you have trouble with these folding in the center, you could always cut out your fold line, and that would probably give you enough to give you a little more space. But there's not very much paper in that little tiny 1/2 inch, so I'm not going to worry about that. Scooting that out of the way there. So I'm just going to come along and put some of these together. And I'll show you the 8x8 ones. And nobody commented to let me know what you thought about a decorate day. So let me know what you think. Welcome to any new subscribers. We're over the 190 mark, closer to the 200. So keep liking, sharing, and subscribing if you've not done so, because it certainly is helping my channel to grow. And when we get to that 500 mark, we're going to have a giveaway. That little bit of glue will help to hold that in there, and then you can come along and add it. So, you know, how you cut it on the inside is really up to you. Each one you might cut a little differently, and that's okay, because they don't all have to match. Let's see. If I slip this under the edge of my mat, that will help hold that down. So let's see. There we go. Slide that baby under there, and we'll pick out one of these other pieces here. It's a different weight cardstock, so let's skip that first one because I don't want to deal with anything upside down today. So let's see what we've got here. We have these pretty flowers. This is from Stamparia's Old Lace. I really like those, and I think those would be very pretty on the front. So I'm going to fold this up from the bottom. And the Stamparia 8x8s, so I've got it on my mat. I want to try, you can see I'm going from 2 to 10. And I'm going to try to fold this up about 2 inches. Does it really have to be exactly? I like these to go up about the 2-inch mark. And then when I fold them in half, they're going to be approximately 5 to 6 inches tall and about 4 inches wide, which is just perfect if I want to use these in my journal. It's not too large. They can be glued down. They can be stuck into a pocket. You can use them individually. You could even use them as a cover to a mini little journal. It's up to you how you might want to use these in the end. Just getting that score line down there. And you could also, speaking of score lines, you could score these. I don't, just because I just don't. It's easier for me. Now, when I fold it this way, I'm going to open that back up this time and see if that helps me to straighten up my edges. It most certainly does. So if you want to score these exactly at your 4-inch mark and your 2-inch mark for your fold up, go right ahead. It just is more cumbersome for me to do so. So I like to do it without folding. And, you know, some people may not have a scoreboard. So don't you think you have to have a scoreboard to do projects? When you don't, you can just simply fold them. They don't have to be exact. You can fold them or whatever, you know, halfway, and then however far up you want this part to go would be just fine. And if you didn't want to do diagonal pockets, you could simply open it up to the inside. It's easier to see, I think. You want this fold, which I am going to ink this time on purpose, because I'm going to cut from the inside, looking at the inside. That was my ink, but I've got enough ink on my dauber here. And again, I'm not going to ink these all out because I might run out of room. I might not even decorate. I might just make the folders. Hopefully that doesn't bother anybody. But what I was also thinking is one day next week, I'll work a decoration day in, and the pockets and folios and things that I haven't gotten decorated, I can come back and decorate. So I'm just going to take my little edge off here. Again, it's just, like I said, a very fraction of a bit. Try to cut straight when you're cutting that off there. That way it doesn't look too horribly crooked. And then I'm going to come in here to this line, and I'm going to do this slightly different. I'm going to bring this in. I'm just cutting about, I don't know, fraction of an inch off that line. Just, I don't know, maybe, I guess that's maybe an 1/8 inch. Or, you know, I don't know how much it is. I'm just cutting the center line out of there, to be honest. Because the extra bulk in my fold will make it difficult when I go to, I'll have too much paper in that fold, so to speak. So, just cutting out this little piece here. Runaway glue. Maybe it fell in my trash bag if I'm lucky. Well, everything's just going off that side today. I don't know why, but that's all right. I don't need them. We're good. We're good to keep going here. Because I have some more glue and I have a glue stick. We can always resort to those. All right, so I have these, and these are just being folded up. I think on this one, I'm going to go ahead and round all of my corners. So let's just see what we get if we do them all. Just in my hand correctly so that it's easier for me to do. There we go. Oh, I was going to show you on this. I'll tell you what, let me get these two upper corners, and I'm going to show you on the bottom corners what you can do if you don't have a corner rounder. It's just really a simple little thing to do. Let's get that down in there and get that one chomped good. Okay, there we go. Well, that one didn't quite chomp it good. So, I'm going to just take that little corner bit off there. There we go. If you do not have a corner chomper, take your scissors and chomp off just the least little bit of your corner. See how that gives it all I'm doing is making a tiny little diagonal cut. It gives it the illusion of having a rounded corner. And that's all it takes to do that. So you just barely take it off. The more you take off, a little bit more you're going to see. So you just want to take just a bit, tiniest little bit. Yep. And there you have the corners look as if they've been rounded now. And this is my other glue that doesn't dry real fast, but we're going to use it because that's what happens to be available at the moment. All right. Doesn't want to open today. I think I got it here. I pinch things between my two fingers because I have more room than I do. Well, it's not cooperating, so I guess we're going to use the little glue stick here today. I'm just going to use my glue stick and put just a tiny little bit along the edges to hold these up because I don't want to get lots on here. So start with this side and just barely put a tiny little bit along my edge. See my purple there? That's all I did. Make sure I get it up here. Yep. And come along on this side. I'm just going to put the same, just a little tiny bit of glue. Just barely. And I am going to hold this down for a few because it is glue stick. So it will hold. And then I can slide it under the edge of the mat while it finishes drying. There we go. Flipping that. Well, except the inside. Glue stick takes a little bit, I think, for it to grip good. You could use your art glitter glue. That's a popular glue amongst those who like junk journaling. I just have different glues that I've had from my card making days and different ones I wanted to try, so that's what I'm doing here. All right, I'm going to fold that in half, and I'm just going to slip it under my mat so that it can be holding. I really like how that turned out with those flowers. Look at that. Before I get it under my mat here, look how those flowers end up on the front of that, and then you open it up and the inside looks really cool as well. All right, gotta push those down, stick it down, and stick it under the edge of my mat up here to hold it close. All right, let's try one more in a, oh, this blue one's pretty. Let's try the blue one. Again, I think I want the flowers on the outside, so I'm going to fold it up this way. It's got a nice border for the pockets there. I'm just kind of guesstimating it. I'm going to put my fold about where that fold is there in the paper, or where that line is in my paper. That makes it to be just slightly over 6, so that'll be good. Most of the journals I make are going to be anywhere from 4 to 6 inches wide and 6 to 8 inches tall. I don't usually make anything over the what would be the same as a piece of just plain copy paper folded in half. Okay. All right. So now we have that. We'll open it back up and fold it the other way. I learned the hard way not to fold it without opening it back up. I think it's so much easier that way, and you get better lineups in your card. Oh, look at that. I started to fold it way off. Okay, where it got a little bit of a shadow there on my mat, and it was hard to tell where the edge was. There we go. Maybe I don't know. There we go. That's good. Get this end, and then if I fold straight, the rest of it should fall into place. Yes, it is. Okay. All right. So that's what we have, and then when we open it back up and fold this up, we have this really pretty lined pocket. And I don't want to take a lot off of this because I like how it is. So we're going to do it like we just did the one we did. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Actually, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and fold these. And then I can come back if you want to do a mass make. You can just have all these folded and slip them under your mat and then come back and cut them. So we'll get that one folded. And let me fold a couple more here. Oh, look at this one. And that one, I'm okay with some of those tickets being upside down because they are just every which direction on this. So let's just fold it like this. And we want to come up about our 2-inch mark, which I just guesstimate. I don't really measure. If you want to, go ahead, but I don't. I just measure to what I think might look good. Just going to fold that way and open it back up and fold it the other way. I'll go back here and decorate one of these for you before I go. I'll go ahead and get a couple more folded. All right, so we got this one. Just gonna fold it back in like that and slip it under my mat over here to get that to stay down. I don't know if you guys can you see where I'm doing? Yeah, it's just, I'm just putting them under the edge of my mat. Then I have, ooh, look at this lovely piece with a line across there. Got one on both sides. Essentially almost the same on both sides, so which do we want to make the inside? Let's try this one. We got this nice swirly. We'll put that on the front there. Oh, wait a minute. That's going to be on our folded up pocket if that's the outside. Do we want that? Either way, that's going to be on the pocket or on the inside. So let's do it this way. Change of mind. We're going to do it this way. And let's see. Let's see what 2 inches gives us here. 2 inches gives us about right here. If we go more than that, it's going to be too deep. So let's go. Let's stick with about our 2 inch mark. I'll go to about right there. It just doesn't seem to look right until I go to about right there. That's close to 2 inches. And after folding these with my hands do get tired, a little bit tired from folding the cardstock. So I think this is going to be my last one. And I'm going to fold today. Except for maybe we'll do the brown one. I don't know. What do you think? Should we do it? Why not? Now, I didn't realize I got a little bit of greenery coming up right here. But that's all right. It just looks like it's growing down off, like it's a little wall that it's growing down off of. So we're going to leave it at that. Isn't it interesting? I didn't see that on there until just this minute. I think I'm oh, there's more greenery on the other side of it, too. Okay, and I didn't fold that correctly. I didn't open it back up, but since I've got it here, I'm going to go ahead and fold it, and then I'll trim it up later to make it even if I need to. It's really crooked, but that's okay. I think I just got it straighter anyway. Okay. That's why you fold them in half. You don't do them like I just did. All right, so I'm going to put that under my mat. And let's fold this piece. And then we'll come along and do this green one or blue one that I have here. And this I want to fold up to hide that. So we're going to fold that up right like that. That'll be perfect. That hides it inside since I don't like that bit of it anyway. And then I can stamp or do something to the outside of this quite easily, turning it into a little pocket folio. These are great for gift giving if you just need a little card or a little card to hold a gift card. Like I already said, that works great. Little card to hold some money, a note. Go send it away. For those of you that mail your gifts like that, you can slip in a gift card and just mail it away. Okay, we don't want to do that. We want to fold it this way. And go down the middle. I don't know if this is actually, I didn't cut this piece. It was mixed in a bunch of things that I got. So it might be slightly off a square, but it's coming out pretty good when I go to fold. Not sure. This, I think, looks like it came off of maybe an old Tim Holtz piece or something. I don't know. It's regular brown paper that has, and I'm sure it came that way because if you look at the back, you can kind of see the little bit of design when the light hits it, of the design that's on the other side. But, okay. So, we'll slip that under here. That takes care of that piece that I've not been liking for some time. Now it'll make a nice little folio piece. So I've got all these over here. let's take this first one and we're going to give it a little decoration. Pull out my ephemera bits over here. See what I've got. Don't think I want any cheesecloth with this. Let's see what I have down in here. A bunch of fussy cuts that aren't completely fussy cut. Oh, I have a little girl, but she'll need back with something if I use her, because she would get lost on there. Oh, let's see, a blue stamp. Do I have a green stamp? Aha, that's blue, not green, Miriam. Let's try again. Let's fish in the bowl and see what we come up with here. Ooh, I got some of these guys. I could use one of my cute little people stickers as well. What's something green? That actually is green background, so that would probably look cool. And let's see what else we have here. Oh, there's a green stamp. Perfect. I knew I had one somewhere. All right, do I have one of these as more? If I'm going to use a green stamp, I think I'm going to use my little girl. These others are different colors, and I just don't think I want that. And I'm going to switch out this for this. All right. Keep it simple today. Let's get rid of that. And get rid of this. And we need a randomish label. These fell over here, so let's see what we have here that will give us a randomie label. Just a small label of some kind. Number 1, $7.99. 2208. Let's use 2208. How about that? That will be pretty. Okay, so we got a stamp, a label, a girl, and a background. Again, I'm just going to use this glue stick here because that's what I have handy. I'm going to put this down on here to give my girl a background because she'll get lost on here. She is, it's one of those that I use the furniture polish and made her transparent. So when you put her down on all these flowers, she gets real lost. So let's give it a background here. And just going to kind of aim for the center. And using this piece. There we go. Okay, that looks cute. Again, ink if you want. I did not. Let's see if I have another ink dauber here that I can use. Oh, I do. Okay. All right, I'm going to cut the little bits of white off that are still on here because I don't want them on here, or I could ink them up either way, but let's just cut them off. I think I cut that really crooked. How can you cut such a little thing so crooked, Miriam? Honestly, I don't understand what the issue is. I don't know if it's my eyes, my coordination, or just not doing it right. I don't know. All right, so let's ink around this good. I'll finish up it. It's got a nice dark brown border here. There we go. That, I like how that green frame looks on here. That's very pretty on this one, isn't it? Okay. Well, hold on to it, Miriam. Okay, and this bottom half. This is how I get my fingers so inky, is inking all these little teeny tiny. And I don't think my girl's going to ink much, so I'm not going to give it a try. Don't really, well, she might. Well, what do you think? We want to try it? Just ink her barely. I don't even know. This is the right side, I'm pretty sure, I think. It's hard to tell once you get these done. It really is. And then I have my stamp. I'll give it maybe a little bit of ink on the edges. Yeah, just enough. So it will kind of pop on that white. Okay. All right. And we're going to put down the girl, the label, and a stamp. So let's put her down. Like that. And maybe a stamp there. And where do we want to? You know what? I don't think she even needs a label. Do you? Nope. She's getting a stamp is all she's going to get on there. The label, just that size, is just making it really too much for this. So we'll put her down. And we're going to put the stamp up there in the corner. So let's set her down on that line and kind of make her as even as I possibly can here so she doesn't look really crooked in that. All right. Press her down good. Oh, doesn't she look pretty on there? I really like it. I don't know. I might have gotten this whole thing crooked, but if it is, don't tell me. I don't want to know. I'm not going to pull it up now because it will mess the whole thing up. So we're not going to do that. This is an actual stamp. Picked up a whole bunch of vintage stamps from, who was it that I got those from? eBay, I think it was. All right, so I'm going to kind of slip that under her bow there and put that down right like that. And I'm going to call it quits on this one. So we got her. And we have that, which I do like, though I wish I would have inked the edges. That's okay. And I have this other blue one here. Let's see what we have that we can put down with our blue one. Remember, we cut it differently. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll use the label on this one since we didn't on the last one. Let's see what else I have in amongst my little bits here that might work. I know I had some blue stamps, but I really don't think we're going to need another. This pink girl with the pink flower and blue flowers, she would probably be very pretty on this. Yes, let's ink her edges and put her on here. You know, I don't think we're going to need a background around her. No, I don't think so. I think we can maybe get away with a stamp and a label without a background. Let's try that and see. Yeah, let's give him a little bit of ink if we can. And we'll ink around the girl before we stick her down. She is a sticker, so let's give her a little inking. Turn that white into maybe some, not quite so stark white. Rubbing it just along my edges here, giving it just so it's not so stark white when I put it down. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're trying. It helped a little bit. Is it any wonder my nails get inked, my fingers get inked? I end up bleaching my hands 2 or 3 times a week to get the ink off. This, I use the walnut stain distress ink, and I don't know, maybe there's a secret to get it off. And if you know, let me know. I've tried alcohol, and I just end up bleaching my hands in the end to get it off there, and it does tend to dry your hands out. All right, let's see. I didn't bring my needle along. There it goes. Yay. Didn't have to play with it forever. So let's get her down, and let's put her over this way so we can have room for our label and our stamp. Okay, I'll go press her down all the way until I get my label and stamp on here. There we go. Where do we want these? Okay, I think I'm gonna slip this under her feet. Yes, I am. Give her something to stand on. There we go. Slip that under there. Yes, it'll need glue, but I'll get it momentarily. Yeah, I'm just trying to decide where I want this stamp before I glue down the label there. I think I'm just going to put her down there like that. I like to keep my decorating somewhat simple. I can always add to it when I put it in a journal if I decide to. just going to glue this part down, and then we'll get the stamp part there. Okay. Get that down. I think this is 32 degrees, 2308. I'm not sure if that's what it's supposed to say, but that's what it looks like to me, huh? Is that what it looks like to you? Hope everybody's getting a chance to do some crafting this weekend. It's just a good weekend. Of course, in my book, every weekend's a good weekend for crafting. So get in those craft rooms and try to get some things done. Everybody deserves a little time in their craft room on the weekends especially. Realize during the week everybody might not have time if you work elsewhere. Work out of your home, but on the weekend, try to get some crafting in. So, all right, so there we have it. We made us 2 little decorated folios, and I have my stack of undecorated ones over here that I can pull from at any point, and I will go back and glue these and put them in my pre-made ephemera pack so that I will have those to pull from anytime I need a little folder for my junk turtles. So that's it for today, y'all. You all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in my next video. So bye for now, everybody. Miss Sharon.